overpopulation. Take 1, 2, 3. So it's an issue or not for you?
I think there is an issue because there's so many people in the world, but in Australia there's not even a problem. In England there's the same amount of people in London as there is in the whole of Australia, but there's not much we can do about it because it's not like you can go around culling the population because that would be just awful. But I guess you could spread people out, more people could come to Australia, boost the economy and everything, just make people aware that there's other places they can go other than London.
But there's still the issue of resources. You only have a certain amount of resources in the world, and therefore spreading people about doesn't solve the issue of you've still got not enough resources for all the people in the world.
Very good point.
At the moment they are saturated in different, like there's war in Africa and China, which is bad, but spreading them about still doesn't solve the issue.
Could help.
It could, maybe.
That's why it's good. So many people can go to different countries these days.
Yeah.
Although Australia can only have English people for a year.
Which is silly.
Which is silly.
We should do something about that.
We should do something about that. We should be able to stay here for a lot longer. And then England wouldn't be so overpopulated.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
If overpopulation is affect to the earth, to bad things, yeah, actually it's not good. Yeah, but I don't know, this is really overpopulation.
Oh, I think maybe a lot more free condoms would be a good solution.
We had an example in the readings for today about Easter Island, where they didn't really manage to control their population and they had wars and things. And then we had an example of Tocopia, which managed to achieve sustainable population through infanticide, through killing the young people, and through having only the eldest son could have children. These were measures put in, enforced by the chiefs, but it worked, and they managed to be sustainable in their environment. What could we do in society?
I think it's a huge problem. I don't think there's going to be an answer. I think it's just gonna hit us, and I think there's going to be something catastrophic that's going to need to happen to make people notice the problem, and those people with money and education are really going to need to use their money and use their education and help out those less fortunate. I think it's just going to be something huge. It's going to maybe be a natural disaster, atomic bombing, I don't know. It's going to be, because I think the way we are now, people just assume, there'll be more oil, we control for more oil. Yeah, well, whatever. You know, we're comfortable here in Australia, we're comfortable in America. We've got plenty of space, plenty of land, plenty of money. We can waste the food on our plate. But there's a lot of people who, they can't say that. They're not as comfortable. So I think something huge is going to have to happen to make us all kind of be one people together to understand that. Stop thinking about other people as less than yourself. Think of all people as equal. Leonardo da Vinci, he who does not respect life does not deserve life.
I think education. It's obviously education. From my experience, I realised that it would be nice to reduce the population, but unfortunately I wasn't very successful in my efforts, and I realised what caused the problem after having 4 children. And yeah, I think and the 4 children are delightful, but you don't have as much time to spend on each individual one as they grow older. It's great to have them, and you say, well, I can afford to have them, but then a few years down the track, you find out that the demands of each individual child, you don't have as much time to spend with them individually. And
it's not that we're overpopulated yet; it's that we're managing the world badly. That's my belief.
Yes, I think it is something of an issue. I don't think it's such an issue in Australia because it's a relatively small population, sort of per geographical area, but I think in the rest of the world it's becoming a significant issue, especially as those people around the world make the transition from, in some cases, being third world countries to first world countries. The demands on the environment and the economies of the world are increasing dramatically. I think as far as controlling said population, as much as China's methods are fairly draconian and severe, I do think that they are taking responsibility in a good way. I mean, they're addressing a problem that, you know, people there before them created, and it's good. I just think that awareness is the key. You know, I think that people need to realize that as much as families are important and a beautiful thing, that, you know, having 6 children isn't necessarily doing massive favors to our planet, especially if you are not prepared to fully support them and make sure that you keep your impact on the environment, the ecology and the economy around you sustainable. So.
Like, it's not going to happen either, but maybe they should make like killing yourself like more easy, like a peaceful place, because there's so many people, and if people want to do it, you can't stop them. Like the girl off Minion Falls, like it would have been a horrible way to die, and there should be like a legal place where you can go just to put yourself to sleep, like really peacefully.
I think the biggest problem with overpopulation is that it's not the amount of land we've got, because apparently we only live in 5% of the land mass on this planet, but it's the food. I think the only way we can solve this is to stop consumption of cereal crops, because they're just destroying the earth, and maybe if we planted more fruit trees and people started relying on fruit rather than cereals, then maybe that's a good way to fix the greenhouse effect and, you know, the destruction we're doing to the topsoils on the planet. That's what I think. And also maybe cattle as well. You know, we've got to stop our reliance on meat, because that does the same kind of damage to the topsoils.
I don't know. Well, I have to think about that question. I actually wouldn't know.
Controversial stuff. What about the death penalty in terms of overpopulation?
Yeah, I'm not really a fan of the death penalty. I think one mistake is one too many. So I don't believe in it. No.
Is overpopulation an issue, or is it a construction by the, how would you say, the repercussions of inciting farmers to grow a GMO biofuel crop rather than a food source crop? Potentially it's there.
But do you think it would be enough, like, even without this genetically modified food, do you think that there would be enough food for everyone on this planet? It's still a big problem.
Yeah.
How do you want to fix that, you know? Do you think it can be a solution or not?
A solution?
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I think if we work to balance the biofuel cropping with food cropping, we have a potential to actually feed people responsibly. Population control has its own natural process as it goes anyway. You know, to create problems as such as can lead to all kinds of conspiracy theories about how people are eugenically controlling, you know, populations in the world, which actually leads on to other emotional, psychological problems. You get caught up in these, you can fall into a trap, or falling into states of depression, of worrying about the issues that happen in the world.